My name is Emily Harrington. I'm 29 years old, and until last Saturday night, I thought my life was boring in the best possible way. Quiet, predictable, safe. That night, I was alone in my condo, curled up on the couch with takeout Thai food, the playoffs playing in the background. I remember feeling almost content. My boyfriend, Marco Rodriguez, had texted me earlier that evening. Having fun with the boys. Don't wait up. Cool, no problem. Marco and I had been together just under 2 years. He'd moved into my condo about 8 months earlier. I owned it outright, bought it 3 years before I ever met him. But I never made him feel like a guest. I wanted us to feel like equals, partners, a future. That belief would age terribly. He'd been talking about this guys' night for weeks. His usual friend group, mostly women actually, Zara, Luna, Kendra, they were basically sisters, according to him. Supposedly starting at a sports bar, then maybe dancing later. I didn't question it. Why would I? Around 11:30 p.m., my phone buzzed. A Snapchat notification from Zara. That alone made my stomach tighten. Zara never messaged me directly, ever. We were friendly, polite, but not close. I hesitated for half a second before opening it. The screen filled with darkness, strobe lights, bass-heavy music, a crowded club, someone laughing behind the camera. And then I saw Marco, my Marco, pressed against another woman. Not just close, not dancing, not flirting, kissing her, hard. Full mouth, hands on her waist, her fingers tangled in his hair like she'd done it 1,000 times before. They looked young, reckless, intimate, like they didn't care who was watching. The caption at the bottom read, "Get it, girl." My body went cold in a way I didn't know was possible. The video vanished a few seconds later, but I'd already screen recorded it. Instinct, survival. Something older than logic kicked in. That's when it clicked. Zara didn't mean to send this to me. She meant to send it to their group chat. We had similar usernames. I was Emily H29. One of her friends was Emilia H29. A mistake. A catastrophic one. I stared at my phone, my pulse roaring in my ears. My hands were shaking, but my thoughts were eerily calm. Like something inside me had gone very still. I typed one message back. "Thanks for the info." She read it instantly. The typing bubbles appeared, disappeared, appeared again, then nothing. 2 minutes later, my phone exploded. Zara calling, Luna calling, Kendra calling. I declined everything and put my phone on silent. I didn't cry. Not yet. Instead, I stood up, walked into the bedroom, and opened the closet. The condo was mine, legally, financially, completely. Marco's name wasn't on the lease. He didn't pay rent. He said he was saving for our future. He covered groceries sometimes, his own bills. That was it. I pulled out 2 suitcases, then 2 more. I packed methodically. Clothes first, shoes, toiletries, cologne, his gaming headset, his stupid collection of graphic tees he refused to throw away, the hoodie he always stole from me. I paused on that one for a second, then folded it and put it in the suitcase anyway. I wasn't destroying anything. I wasn't throwing things out the window. I just wanted it gone. By 1 a.m., I had 4 suitcases and 3 boxes lined up by the door. I called the concierge desk downstairs. "Hi, this is Emily in 1204. I have some luggage that needs to be held for pickup tomorrow." "No problem, Miss Harrington," Rob said calmly. "Who's picking it up?" "Marco Rodriguez. He'll have ID." "Got it." Security came up. No questions. They tagged everything, rolled it onto the service elevator, and handed me a receipt. When the door closed, I locked it behind them. Then I opened the smart lock app on my phone, changed the code. Took less than 30 seconds. I turned my phone back on. 52 messages, 18 missed calls. Zara: "Emily, I'm so sorry. Please don't do anything rash." Luna: "It's not what it looks like. Please answer." Kendra: "They're just friends. It was a joke." Friends. Sure. At 12:47 a.m., Marco finally texted, "Baby, Zara said she sent you something by accident. It's not what it looks like. That girl is just a friend from work. I'm in an Uber. I'm coming home now. We need to talk." I replied once. "Your belongings are with the concierge. The lock code has been changed." Then I turned my phone off and went to bed. I didn't sleep. At 2:20 a.m., my Ring doorbell caught everything. Marco stumbling up to the door, trying the code, again and again. His laughter fading into confusion, then anger, knocking, pounding. "Emily, open the door! This isn't funny!" His voice cracked when he started crying. "Please, baby, just let me explain." He left. Came back 10 minutes later with his mother and sister. 3 silhouettes on my doorstep at almost 3 in the morning. His mother, Lucia, shouting my name. His sister threatening to call the police. They did. At 8:30 a.m., 2 officers stood in my hallway while I held a mug of coffee, still in my robe. They explained the complaint. I explained the situation. Then I showed them the video. The younger officer looked away, trying not to smile. The older one turned to Marco. "Sir, you're not on the lease. Your belongings are downstairs. You need to collect them and leave." Marco looked at me like I'd betrayed him, like I was the villain. That was the moment I understood something important. This wasn't over. Not even close. If there's one thing I learned quickly, it's this. When someone loses access to your space, they don't grieve the relationship. They grieve the benefits. The first sign came less than 6 hours after the police left. It was barely 2 p.m. when my phone buzzed with a Venmo notification. Marco Rodriguez requested $3,500. Description: household contributions plus emotional labor. I actually laughed, out loud, alone in my kitchen. 2 years together, 8 months living in my condo rent-free, and suddenly I owed him for the privilege of being cheated on. I declined the request and blocked him. That's when the sister stepped in. A text from an unknown number popped up seconds later. "This is Sophia. You owe my brother for everything he gave up to support your career. Emotional labor matters. $3,500 is generous considering the damage you've done." Emotional labor. This man once forgot to pay his phone bill 3 months in a row and asked me to remind him next time. I blocked that number too. I thought, naively, that would be the end of it. Day 2 proved me wrong. Around 10:30 a.m., my office receptionist called my desk. "Emily, there's a man here asking for you. He says he's your fiancé. Says it's a family emergency." My stomach dropped. I knew. Before she finished the sentence, I knew. "Do not let him back," I said calmly. "I don't know anyone by that name." Security handled the rest. Later, Jake, one of the guards, filled me in. Marco had completely lost it in the lobby. Crying, shouting, telling anyone who would listen that I'd destroyed his life, that I was emotionally abusive, that I was withholding his property. When security escorted him out, he screamed, "She can't do this to me." Jake shrugged when he told me. "Happens more than you'd think." My manager pulled me aside that afternoon. "You okay?" he asked carefully. I showed him the video. He stared at it for 5 seconds, then handed my phone back. "Say no more," he said. "We'll make sure security knows he's not allowed back." Day 3 was when Marco decided to cosplay as a legal scholar. I got home from work to find him standing in the hallway with his mother, his sister, and a man in a cheap gray suit holding a clipboard. The second I stepped off the elevator, the suit approached me. "I represent Mr. Rodriguez," he said stiffly. "You violated tenant rights." I blinked. Then I laughed. Out loud. Again. "My landlord has the lease," I said, unlocking my door. "Single occupancy, my name only." My landlord, who had clearly already been briefed, pulled it up on his tablet. "No tenant rights," he said flatly. "If you show up here again without permission, it's trespassing." Marco's face twisted. As they walked away, he turned back and sneered. "Keep the condo," he said. "That girl from the club actually appreciates me. Her Mercedes is nicer than your car anyway." The building manager didn't even look at me when he said, "Then why are you still here?" Day 4. The fraud started. My credit card company called while I was in a meeting. Someone had attempted to book a $1,200 flight to Cabo using my saved card. Billing address, Sophia's apartment. I froze the card immediately. Then I checked everything. Amazon, Netflix, Spotify, Uber. Marco had tried to order nearly $800 worth of stuff. All declined. I filed a fraud report. The representative sighed. Unfortunately, this is very common after breakups. Day 5 brought audacity in human form. An Instagram DM from a woman I didn't know. Hey Emily, this is Lena. I'm seeing Marco. He says you're holding one of my necklaces, worth about $2,000. He said you packed it by mistake. Can you just leave it with the concierge? I stared at the message. What necklace? Marco owned exactly 0 luxury jewelry. The only jewelry he ever touched was the watch I bought him for his birthday. I replied, everything he owned was returned. If something's missing, maybe check your back seat. She read it. Blocked me. Then came the message that changed the entire tone of the situation. Zara reached out. Emily, I'm really sorry, but I think you should know the truth. I told her I was listening. She hesitated, then sent a wall of text. Marco had been seeing Lena for 3 months. Everyone in the friend group knew. He'd told them I was controlling, that I monitored his spending, that I didn't let him have friends over, that he was scared to leave. I sat on my couch, rereading the message. 2 weeks earlier, I'd hosted dinner for all of them. Bought the wine, cleaned the condo, smiled. I asked Zara why she told me now. Because things are falling apart, she admitted. Luna found out Marco told her boyfriend that Luna was flirting with him. Kendra's missing $400 Marco borrowed. None of it lines up anymore. The group chat was imploding. And suddenly, everything made sense. The cheating wasn't the worst part. The worst part was the story he'd been telling about me, and he wasn't done telling it. Not even close. I thought I was prepared for whatever Marco tried next. I wasn't. Monday morning, I was 10 minutes into a status meeting when my calendar suddenly updated. HR. Mandatory meeting. No explanation. No context. My stomach dropped so fast it felt physical. The HR manager didn't smile when I walked in. Legal was already there. My manager sat stiffly beside them, hands folded. Emily, she said carefully, we received a complaint that we're required to investigate. She turned her screen toward me. An email sent to our CEO, CFO, legal department, and the entire board. Subject line, Concerned Citizen Report. Domestic abuse. My name was highlighted in bold. Marco accused me of financial abuse, emotional manipulation, isolating him from friends and family, theft of personal property, threatening behavior. He claimed I controlled all money in the relationship and punished him when he tried to leave. Attached were photos, selfies of him crying, a picture of the packed suitcases, a screenshot of my text. Your belongings are with the concierge. The HR manager looked uncomfortable. We have to take allegations like this seriously, she said. Is there anything you can share that provides context? I didn't hesitate. I opened my phone. First, the video. Marco, in a club, kissing Lena like the world didn't exist. Second, Ring doorbell footage. Him pounding on my door at 2:20 a.m., screaming, crying, leaving, coming back with his mother and sister. Third, texts. Him admitting Lena was a friend from work, proving he lied. Fourth, bank statements. 0 rent paid, ever. Fifth, the fraud report. Attempted Cabo flight. Amazon charges. Declined. The room went silent. The HR manager's expression shifted from concern to anger. She stood. Give us a moment. When she came back, she wasn't alone. Legal had joined her. This is harassment, the attorney said flatly, and attempted defamation. We're issuing a cease and desist immediately. If he contacts anyone at this company again, we'll pursue charges. I nodded. Inside, something hardened. I wasn't just defending myself anymore. I was done absorbing damage quietly. 2 days later, I found an envelope taped to my door, handwritten, from Lucia. Marco's mother. 3 pages. She accused me of corrupting her innocent son, of turning him into someone who needed attention from other women, of destroying a good man. She told me real women forgive, that real love meant accepting mistakes. Then came the line that made my hands shake. Marco has been staying with Lena, but she's already tired of him. When she kicks him out, and she will, he'll have nowhere to go. This will be on your conscience. I laughed. It came out sharp, unfamiliar. Apparently, I was responsible for housing the man who cheated on me, lied about me, tried to get me fired, and committed fraud. Good to know. Day 12 is when Marco discovered TikTok. He posted a video titled, "When You Escape Your Toxic Ex." Sad music. Him sitting in a car. Lena's Mercedes, unmistakably. Red eyes. Trembling voice. Text overlay. Starting over at 27 is hard. But I survived emotional abuse. The comments were brutal. Someone posted the cheating video. Escaped right into another woman's mouth, huh? Another comment. You owe my roommate $300. Then Kendra chimed in. You told me you were planning to cheat for months. Delete this. The video was deleted within 2 hours. Too late. Screen recordings were everywhere. Local gossip pages, group chats. Even my coworker sent me a link with one word, yikes. That night, I got another DM from Lena's boyfriend. Apparently, Marco wasn't even her main relationship. For real, he wrote. You need to take him back. He won't stop talking about you. This isn't what I signed up for. I replied, sounds like a you problem. Does he know you're trying to return him like an Amazon package? Blocked. 20 minutes later, Marco called me from an unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Curiosity won. Emily, he said, voice shaking, I know you saw the messages. Lena doesn't mean anything. I was hurt, confused. You were seeing her for 3 months, I said calmly. Zara told me. Silence. That's not... She's lying, he stammered. She's always been jealous. I don't care, I said. Stop contacting me. Stop contacting my job. Stop committing fraud. But I love you. You loved my condo, I said. And my credit card. There's a difference. Before I could hang up, I heard a voice in the background. Who are you talking to? Lena snapped. I told you not to call her. They started arguing. I hung up. I thought that was the end. I was wrong. Because if there's one thing Marco hadn't tried yet, it was court. 2 weeks after the last call, I was served. An envelope slid under my door while I was at work. No warning, no build-up. Just thick paper and a return address that made my jaw tighten. Marco Rodriguez versus Emily Harrington. Small claims court. He was suing me for $12,000. $5,000 for illegal eviction. $5,000 for emotional distress. $2,000 for lost personal property. I stared at the numbers, trying to find the logic. There wasn't any. I hired a lawyer the next day. Cost me $1,500, and it was worth every cent. Court was scheduled for 6 weeks later. Plenty of time for Marco to convince himself he was the victim. The morning of the hearing, I wore a navy suit and flat shoes. Clean, neutral, unemotional. Marco walked in wearing a fitted blazer and a dress shirt I recognized instantly. I bought that shirt. Birthday gift. 2 years ago, $300. He didn't look at me. The judge was an older woman with sharp eyes and no patience for theatrics. Marco spoke first. He claimed we were in a committed domestic partnership, that I kicked him out without notice, that I controlled his access to money, that I stole jewelry belonging to another woman. My lawyer didn't interrupt. When it was our turn, she stood calmly. She submitted the lease, bank statements, the cheating video, the fraud report, the cease and desist letter from my company. Texts where Marco referred to himself as a guest months before the breakup. The judge flipped through the documents slowly. Then she looked up at Marco. One question, she said. Did you pay rent? He hesitated. No, he said, but I contributed in other ways. What ways? The judge asked. Emotional support, cooking, cleaning. Do you have documentation of these contributions? She asked. Silence. The judge sighed. All claims dismissed, she said, except one. She turned to me. You should have given him 24 hours to retrieve his belongings. You owe 1 night of reasonable hotel costs, she calculated. $120. I paid it immediately. Just to be done. As we left the courtroom, Marco's own lawyer turned to him and snapped loudly enough for everyone to hear. You told me you paid rent. You told me you had receipts. You wasted my time. He walked away, shaking his head. Over the next month, everything unraveled. Zara blocked him. Luna discovered Marco had been flirting with her boyfriend. Kendra never got her $400 back. His sister apologized to me quietly. Turns out Marco owed her $2,000 too. He moved back in with his mother. Then came the rumors. A failed GoFundMe. A screaming match at Lucia's hair salon. Lena kicking him out after he tried to add himself to her credit cards. 2 months later, I ran into him at a grocery store. He was with a new woman. When he saw me, he grabbed her arm and said loudly, "Let's go. My abusive ex is here." She looked at me like she was ready to fight. I smiled. "Ask him about Lena's Mercedes," I said calmly, and kept walking. By the time I reached my car, they were already arguing. Present day, I'm doing fine. I'm seeing someone new. A man who laughed so hard at this story on our 3rd date, he nearly choked on his wine. He said, "At least I know you don't tolerate nonsense." He's right. Marco, from what I hear, is still explaining himself, still rewriting, still trying to be the victim. But here's the truth. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. And when they text you they're having fun with the boys, then get caught on video kissing another woman, pack their things, change the locks, and let the entitlement destroy itself.